Triambakam yajamahe sugantim pushtivardhanam urvarukamiva bandhanam mrityurmukshyamamritat
Hi, this is Amalia Eon Karis.
Hey everyone, it's Satya, and you're listening to Love, Sex, and the Hidden Agenda.
Sugantim pushtivardhanam urvarukamiva bandhanam mrityurmukshyamamritat
Welcome back. Satya here. I'm here with Amalia.
Hello.
Hello. So let's continue with the Shakti rising, and we were talking about the different cultures and female dress and perceptions, and we were talking about the nipple thing in Japan, and we're talking about people's, and when you said in the last episode, you mentioned, like a man without, like, let's say a man takes off his shirt. And so I'm thinking, if I see a man without his shirt on and he's got, let's say, just a great chest or something, and like, would my thought be, he wants me? Like he wants me. He's trying to show me he wants to have sex with me. I honestly just would not think that.
Joe laughing. Joe's cracking up.
I might think like, okay, he has a nice chest and maybe he's hot, or maybe he just wants to show his nice chest. I don't know, but is it about me? Not necessarily. Like, I would not take that extra step to be like, ooh, he wants me. Oh, now he's trying to get me in bed with him. Or, oh, he wants to, you know what I mean? I personally wouldn't. Maybe there's some people that would.
Well, it's interesting you bring that up because we're so objectified as females. But I was, my last relationship, the guy I was with was extremely chiseled, and we were in the same community where we were drumming and dancing, and sometimes it was really hot, and I could tell that he was hesitant to take his shirt off because he didn't want to, like, I asked him about it later. I hope he's fine with me sharing this, but I was like so curious because he was really shy about how good looking he was. Like, he didn't, I think he didn't want to make like the other guys feel inferior or seriously.
All the women.
And so I was getting such a kick as one of the dancers, and like, he would take his shirt off and the energy in the room would change a bit. It wasn't, because his body is so well formed, it's hard not to look, right? And it made me think like, oh, I guess that's what it's like. I think he knows better what female objectification is like than a lot of guys do, because some guys that don't have really nice bodies aren't used to being objectified, so they don't even know that they're objectifying a female when they, like, say she's wearing a tank top or a form-fitting dress or something. They don't realize, they just can't stop staring.
Right.
And sometimes I do think that I've met men, and we had a situation like that where with your costume malfunctioning, where the guys were like, oh, she did it on purpose. She's trying to flash me. And I was like, are you out of your mind, dude? She is not flashing you. She's dressed like that, and her outfit changes. It's not about you. Can we talk about that here?
That was mortifying for me. That was so mortifying for me. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So so the story is, it's kind of embarrassing, but anyway, so the story is we were doing there were two different things. Oh my goodness, why I don't understand. Anyway, so we were in a situation and it was really hot. And I was wearing
something form-fitting.
I was wearing a skirt, and I had to sit down on a meditation cushion, and I have like I have a couple of very, very stretchy skirts, and I can dance in them. I can do anything in them. And I've never had a problem with them. Like,
and they're long. It's not like a mini skirt.
Right. Yeah. But I realized I didn't have time to change, and we were starting right then. And it was just a very, very busy day. And I went to sit down on my meditation cushion, and I'm like, oh, well, I'm wearing, it'll be okay. It's super stretchy and it'll be fine. And well, this particular one was like a newer one, slightly different material, didn't quite stretch exactly the way I wanted it to when I kind of pulled it up to kind of sit on my meditation cushion. I knew in that moment, I said to myself, oh shit, like this is, I'm going to have to, luckily
You're
I had
flashing someone.
Well, I was hoping not, but I was hoping that anyone who saw me possibly would maybe avert their eyes and give me just a second. Like, I had a scarf that I was like, okay, if this doesn't work, I can just throw this scarf over me real quick. But I was literally I was sitting, and my momentum was like, I couldn't get back. I was in the flow of sitting on a cushion.
No,
it was
and
too late.
It was too late. And I was watching the whole thing because, okay, so for those of you listening, we were camping, and she didn't have time to change. I was sort of pressuring you to like hurry up and get in position because we're about to start, and I needed you like grounded and ready to, we were leading some people in a meditation, and Satya and the other guy working were my musicians, and you were like fumbling around trying to figure out how you were going to sit properly. And when you finally did go to sit on the cushion, I remember I like averted my eyes like, okay, girl, I hope you're going to like realize that you're wearing a skirt and you're about to sit on a cushion on the floor.
Oh God.
And you did, you like grabbed your scarf and you promptly covered your scarf over. And then our other musician friend has to tell me later that like you flashed him, and I was like, what are you talking about? She did not flash you. He's like, yeah, she did. She flashed me. And I was like, you were staring. And then he later did admit, he's such a sweetheart, he did admit that he was looking to see.
Yeah.
And I think some men, they can't help themselves, they're just sort of like staring like, oh my God, is she gonna sit down in that skirt? Like, is her legs gonna open? Well, of course they're gonna open. She has to sit on the floor. And it's like, it makes us not, I don't know. I mean, obviously we need to think about what we need to wear, the appropriate clothing for the appropriate situations that we're in.
Right.
But I know that you weren't thinking that far ahead, and there was a lot going on, and you definitely weren't trying to give someone a peak show.
No. And for me, like, I don't own a pair of shorts. Like, shorts don't work for me at all. I hate shorts. And leggings were too hot. And so it was just, so I was, but the thing, the thing for me is like, I don't think I've ever flashed anyone in my entire life. Not that I know of. I have made it to 47 years old without doing that I know of. And for it to happen now, like when I am feeling, like beautiful, and I am owning my body more and that kind of thing. And it's like, for somebody to think that, to make it about them was a little bit like,
it's disturbing.
It's disturbing for me. Yeah. It's like, dude, like if somebody else were to do that, I wouldn't think like, oh, they're trying to show, I'd just be like, oh,
yeah. It's like a dude wearing boxers, like on a hot summer day and sitting down on the beach chair, and you're happen to be like laying on the sand, it's like you get a peek of his privates, and you're like, oh my God. It's not like you think he's trying to flash you. It's obviously like a costume clothing malfunction, and we all have our private areas.
Right.
Why would we be staring, waiting? Sometimes I think that men literally sit and wait for a clothing malfunction on a female to it's like some perversion or like some distortion of God, it's arousing maybe for them. I mean, I'm sure it's arousing because one time I was with an old partner of mine, and we went to a dinner party, and they were drinking like a bottle of wine. I don't drink, so I was completely sober, and nobody was drunk, but they were having a glass of wine, and it was me and my partner and this other couple, and the female was also very well endowed, gorgeous woman, and she was wearing a spaghetti strapped top. It was summertime, it was blazing hot, and I guess she leaned over or something, and it just slipped off, and she wasn't wearing a bra, and I guess her nipple popped out. I didn't even see it, I wasn't there. But later we went home, and he told me that she flashed him because he was clearly like, oh my God, I saw, so-and-so's breast. And I laughed so hard, and I was like, do you think she did that on purpose? And he's like, oh yeah, she totally did. She completely knew that her breast was hanging out. And I was like, I'm sorry, that's one of my closest sisters. She's not an exhibitionist. I do not think that she purposefully in front of her husband was like trying to flaunt her breasts at you. Yes, she has big breasts. She was wearing a spaghetti strap thing. It's hot. And, it's just like, where does that, I mean, I'm sure there are women out there that do that, but like kind of weird, twisted ones. And definitely it wasn't her, and it wasn't you in this situation. And I think, what is that about?
Yeah. And so the other part of the story is that we were doing these, these characters. How do I describe that?
We were doing a photo shoot of our inner archetype,
alter ego,
our rebellious archetype. Yeah. And
our rebellious archetype.
Queen of
Hearts. Yeah. And I had this red skirt, and it was a longer skirt, like over my knees, but it did have a slit in it. It was a new skirt, and I couldn't have any underwear lines. So, okay, I was going commando. And so the photographer, I guess, kneeled down to take pictures. And let's just say, unbeknownst to me, he apparently saw something there. Now, I had no idea this was going on. Later on, he tells Amalia, like, oh, by the way, Satya, I think, was, trying to show me some. I was like, oh, for God's sakes, people, no.
Well, no, to give him credit, he didn't say it like that. He just said, when I picked up all the photos for you guys, he was like, I had to delete a bunch of photos because they were really inappropriate. And I was like, what are you talking about? This was a spiritual retreat. Like, how could any of our photos be inappropriate? And he was like, no, Satya wasn't wearing any underwear. And I was like, wait, what? Like, I was there for the photo shoot. What are you even talking about? And
yeah, but it's like, then don't kneel down and take pictures right in the perfect spot. And I was like,
do you think that was on purpose? Yeah. And I think
and he did think it was on purpose. Yeah. And that's just, to me, that's just like, so how does a person, like, for the men out there and stuff, it's like making that extra step, thinking somebody's like doing that is just, it's a little bit twisted in my book. Like, it's let's
pull Joe in on this one, because we do have a male producer who's listening
poor Joe.
To our crazy
He's
stories.
like, no.
You don't want me to get in on this.
Yeah, we do.
You really don't want me to get on this.
Well, okay. So if a woman was wearing an outfit that all of a sudden was like revealing her privates, like her nipple or between her legs, and you happen to see it, would you think she was doing it on purpose?
Just depends on how she's acting. I mean, accidents happen. What if she's
just relaxed, and she doesn't seem to care, but she's not trying to pick up on you or anything like that. She's just being herself.
Well, I mean, I've had that happen to me, and that you can't help, from a guy's point of view, they get triggered, if they see female body parts, you know what I mean? Especially on a good looking woman. It's just, you get triggered. So but as a mature man, you have to tell yourself it's an accident, you just have to tell yourself that. It's not like there's a voice in your head going, she's doing it on purpose. What happens is you get a little bit, I guess you could say, aroused if it's a good looking woman. Right. And then you've got to make a decision after that. It's different for men. We could look at a good looking woman and just, be attracted immediately. We don't go about it as careful as women would, for good reason. But I've had that happen, and most of the time it was I never thought that the woman was being like trying to pick me up or doing it on purpose,
Right. So there you go.
Yeah, and I get that it's obviously can be extremely arousing. Like that I understand, but
I understand.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to shame or blame these men because
like if a man takes his shirt off and he's got an amazing chest, I'm gonna be like, wow, like I'll probably think, damn, that's wow.
Yeah, looks good.
but I'm not gonna be like he's.
Yeah, and I think that's where when I lived in India, I couldn't even wear 3/4 length pants, like my calf of my leg and my ankle, if it was showing and I was on a scooter. And mind you, it's like 120 degrees Fahrenheit outside. So really hard to wear pants. And I would wear these 3/4 length pants, and men would pull up next to me and like stare at my ankles and think that it was an invitation to reach out and touch me.
Right.
Because I was showing some skin.
But guys do say it though. They do say, oh, she's doing that on purpose. She's, but this not a clothing accident, but let's say a woman's wearing something skimpy, right? Mm-hmm. To us, you're doing it on purpose. To most guys, it's kind of obvious, right? You're trying to look sexy or you wouldn't wear it to begin with. That's the way we look at it.
Yeah, that's a tricky one. I mean, I think
it is a tricky one.
It's really tricky because I don't dress up to turn men on. I dress up because I like fashion. I like lines. I like the way certain fabrics feel. I like how it fits on my body. And it's for me to feel comfortable or confident or.
Well, what are we talking about here? Give me an example of something that you would wear that you think you've seen trigger people that it shouldn't, that you don't think that should, maybe.
Oh, like if I just walked in yoga pants without covering my ass, yeah, people think I'm trying to show off my ass.
Yoga pants.
Yoga pants. Yeah.
That's a
I go to the gym and work out. Yeah.
To me, I would be like, okay.
Have women and men like glaring at either men like lusting or women mean to me. And I don't understand what's going on.
I've never seen
a comment.
I've never seen your backside, Amalia, but I'm sure if you were wearing yoga pants and you have a nice backside, I'm probably going to look.
Right.
But
so this
I'm not
is the
wearing the pants to make you look. I'm wearing the pants because I'm going to work out.
It's a human thing, though. It's a man thing.
It's like, what am I supposed to wear? I can't take my butt away. Like it's been there since I can't even fucking see it. Sorry for cussing.
Well, now you know why some of the guys in the East are like, wear a sheet, put a sheet on.
For you guys, because I can't see it, like it's behind me. And I don't know what you're all like talking about. So I don't even see what you see. But like, why should I be ashamed of my God-given ass?
You shouldn't be.
Right. And that's where, okay. And so Joe, that's where this little tiny difference is, because like for some reason we have shame around it. And then we feel like we need to
cover it.
Right. And even just dressing fully clothed, but if there's some kind of shame we have to get over in order to just wear something that, and then not to mention like, if, I'm in I'm doing this photo shoot and like, I'm kind of relying on the photographer to like, well, if you're at an angle where you can see something, maybe move to a different angle, but for God's sakes, like I'm not deliberately trying to do this, and so yeah, I think we do. love to admire. I think beauty is beauty, and for men and women, beautiful
Mhm.
men, beautiful women, and you know, in Europe, like when I was younger and I had been to Europe for the first time and I was spending some time there and I was staying with some friends, and I'll never forget one of the women was a model, and she was I think I was getting dressed in something, and I said, is this too much to go walking, you know, and to go out to eat? And she was like, what are you talking about? Everyone loves to see a beautiful woman wearing something beautiful. So even then I was like, oh, is this too, you know, do I look too good maybe, or do I, or whatever, you know? But
That's
um
crazy.
and I thought, wow, like this is how you guys think. Like even Europe at that time for me was a more freer type of mind. Like it's okay to look nice, it's okay to wear red lipstick, it's okay to, you know, in Paris especially, like all the women wear red lipstick and whatnot, but it's like it's okay to be admired, or to look at. It's okay for people to enjoy looking at each other, for people to have some kind of arousal, okay. But when we start to turn it into something else, where it's like this person is trying to have sex with me, or this person is trying to show me their private part, like when that's clearly not.
Well,
So
that's where
I
it
don't
comes
know.
from. There's a lot of there's okay, so there's a lot of I got friends that have daughters, and and
Mhm.
I've was been around construction workers, football players. I've been a part of it all, and there's a
Oh
lot of
god.
guys
Mhm.
out there that are just they every time they see a hot girl, they act like it's the only one they've ever seen in their life, and they act
Exactly.
stupid and ridiculous, and it's uncomfortable for a lot of people. But and those guys are never going to go away because they're morons, you know.
Mhm.
But uh, if that shouldn't make you feel shame. What if I was a hot chick, I'd be flaunting my stuff all the time. And if somebody like said something stupid to me, I'd roll my eyes at them and be like, "You're an idiot," you know.
Aw.
I'm just
Well,
Well,
saying,
that's
Queen Joe.
there's nothing to be
what.
ashamed of. Why do you work out and eat healthy and do all this stuff? So you go out and wear a sheet or worry about what you look like all the time? I mean, it's stupid. Flaunt that stuff, you know?
Well, what's so funny is like, for me, it has nothing to do with flaunting anything, because
You know what I mean?
honestly, well, I know what you mean, but I am a very shy person, and I'm not. I don't like a lot of attention on me, like
Mhm.
especially objectificating. I don't want it focused on my body at all, and and yet I really like to feel healthy. I like to feel strong, and I really want to feel comfortable in my body, and I don't want to feel um, uncomfortable with, like, whether it's excess weight or
Hmm.
whatever, right? I just want to be comfortable in my own skin and
Mhm.
love myself more than anything else. That's all I really want. I'm not looking for it. I'm not looking for approval from the outside about how I look. It's honestly, for me, it's about how I feel, and just feeling comfortable in the situations that I'm in. But it's weird when other people think it's about them. I'm like, this has nothing to do with you. This is actually a really self-absorbed state I'm in. Like, I just want to be comfortable
And
in the
what's the shame
activity
thing
that I'm
about then?
doing. Well, because they'll act like, like living in the East. Like, first it was my nipples. Like, oh, I never even realized, right, that my breasts were anything to look at until Asian men were obsessed with it. And I realized, okay, no Asian woman, even though they are flat chested, they all wear padded bras because nipples are somehow highly erotic there. We're in San Francisco. A woman who's, under a size C cup doesn't wear a bra. Like, it kind of seems ridiculous. Like, why would you?
Right.
It doesn't make
Mhm.
sense. It's like the hippie culture was up, California. I grew up with that whole thing. Like, only
Right.
women who are large breasted wore bras. And so then being in Asia, where all of a sudden it was like shameful. And then being in India, where it was like shameful to show your shoulders, but it was okay to show your, they wear
Stomach.
saris and their stomachs are showing. And
Really?
I was like, the stomach is
That
way
blew
more
my
erotic than my
mind.
shoulder. But I wasn't
Yeah.
allowed to wear tank tops. My husband would always cover my shoulder if my shoulder was showing. And I was like,
That's weird.
it's my shoulder. Like, what's so damn sexy about my shoulder? Like,
Yeah.
he's like, no, you don't understand. It's very erotic. And I'm like, to who? It's bloody hot here. It's like 120 degrees most days of the summer. And I'm supposed to wear sleeves.
Yeah, I remember that too when I had been in India for a while. Yeah, the shoulder thing, or your ankles or something. If you show your shoulders or your yeah, and then
God
but yet
forbid wearing a mid-length skirt
right,
or
but
anything form-fitting.
yeah, and at the time for me, like cropped tops and stuff were not even a thing or in style. Like right now, crop tops are in style here, but even then, you can show just a little bit.
Well, you can't show the belly button. That's what most Western women don't understand too in India. They're like, oh, I can show my stomach, so I'll wear a crop top. I'm like, no, you're showing your belly button, which is like the sacred feminine life force that you're not supposed to expose. But the sides of your curves on the side, or your love handles, however your body is designed.
And your back and your stomach. Like in India, it's totally fine. And
this is all patriarch bullcrap, if you think about it, though, right?
So this is right. So back to the whole hidden thing, this is no matter where you go. I mean, we see, anything from, in Brazil, you can walk around naked on the beach. In France, you can, you're on a boat with your dad and you're completely topless, and he's not thinking like, whoa, she's trying, like boobs are just boobs. And then, and then you've got people wearing burqas.
I gotta go to Brazil.
So this, just the whole thing.
You know where Joe's next ticket is.
Sao Paulo.
But it's so true. Like there's so many cultures. I mean, being topless on the beach is so normal in Europe. And yet, and for women or girls to grow up being comfortable in their body around their father in Europe, it's very normal. I know Brazilian, I have a Brazilian friend too, who told me, yeah, she wears these, thong bikinis and she's sitting on her father's lap and she's 20. And I was feeling very uncomfortable. Like, are you serious?
Oh,
like,
man.
You're, and for them, that was all very, there was nothing secret or gross about it. It was just, of course it's her father and it's all very clear. And I think, I don't know, I just pray that men and the mothers of boys will learn and be educated how to just respect the female body and to really go deep with this within themselves so that they can help us feel more safe and comfortable, where we get to decide like how we want to dress, and it's not about their pleasure, but it's about our own. I would really like to see that. And I'm in Mexico right now, living here for the winter, and I have to say that it's so freeing because this culture is the most comfortable I've ever felt, like wearing shorts, being in a bikini, being just going out at night. I feel totally safe. I feel like, yes, there's a lot of beautiful people here, scantily clad, and everyone's kind of, there's like a lot of arousal or eroticism in the air, but it's the safest I've ever felt. Like people, there's like really clear boundaries, like women own their sexuality here. And, maybe people have something else to say about it, and I'm just a newbie in this culture, but it palpably feels totally different than the US, than Europe, than definitely than Asia or India.
Right. There is some kind of strange feeling when it gets a little twisted, and when somebody feels shame, or somebody feels, I mean, yeah, like if somebody thinks that I did something like that on purpose, I immediately feel shamed and I'm completely embarrassed. And I want to run into a cave and like never be seen again, and never, you know, make an accident happen like that. Or just, you know, I want to start wearing a sheet. That's what, yeah. So
And
that,
here you are talking about it on a public forum. So kudos.
yikes. Ah. Yeah. So yeah. So I had a minute where I felt like that, and then I thought, you know,
Mhm.
no. And it, you know, it, in that same vein, that on another, in a completely different way. And I know we probably need to wrap up here. But you know, that filters into things like when a woman is in a situation where they've been betrayed somehow, or their boundaries have been twisted, and or there's rape, or there's molestation, and then they feel as if they've played a part in this or something, and then there's like this shame, and some women will, after experiencing something like that, will go into a phase of their lives where, you know, they are dressing in, you know, giant clothes, and looking as unattractive as possible. And there's, you know, even people
Yeah,
who
I did
are,
that.
even
I
people
did
who are
that
like
for
molested
5
as kids, like they'll grow up with a bunch of weight. They'll be really overweight just for protection from
for
attraction.
sure.
And so it goes on and on and on.
Yeah, we
I'm
got to
sorry, I didn't
clear the
mean to
shame.
interrupt you. Yeah.
No, you didn't. We have to clear that shame. And that was for me too. Like I grew up, you know, in the 90s feeling very liberated with how I dressed, and I loved fashion. I was in the fashion industry and working around fashion designers all the time. And so clothing and lines and heels, like that was just normal. And then after being attacked a couple of times, which I shared in some of the previous episodes, I just started dressing like a Muslim woman. I just took,
Mhm.
I covered my head. I wore long sleeve shirts, long sleeve pants. I wore scarves. There was somewhat of a waist to my clothing, like,
Mhm.
but it was long. I would wear long tunics. I did that for 5 years, and I still got attacked. And I
Exactly.
even changed
So,
the color of my hair because, you know, I'm blonde naturally. I darkened my hair. I covered it because I was like, what is it that is, does it say like rape me, attack me, like molest me, you know, objectify me? Why? Is it because of my, you know, God-given ass that somehow says touch me? Like, what is going on that makes people, men, think that I am designed for their pleasure? Like, I'm just trying to enjoy my life, or like exist, or feel comfortable in myself. And so I had to do so much work to clear that and liberate, and now be like, okay, I can wear whatever I want because I want to wear
right.
it. Yeah.
We should wrap up, and we should continue this in the next episode.
Great. Thank you guys for listening.
All right. Tell them where to get a hold of us or find us.
Lovesexagenda.com is our website. Find us on Instagram or Facebook, Love Sex Agenda. See you in the next episode. Thanks for hanging out with us. If you'd like to contact us and stay in touch with us, you can find us at lovesexagenda.com. That's lovesexagenda.com. You can also find us on Facebook and Instagram, Love, Sex, and the Hidden Agenda.